Good morning, dear students. Today I am going to start next section, that is cell communication. What do you mean by communication? Communication is the act of conveying message between individuals. And in the similar way, inside our body also, there is such a system of communication between the cells. And through that communication, almost all of physiological processes are taking place very smoothly. So whenever that communication is disrupted, then our body will stop functioning. Body may attain in a petrified stage, in a shock stage. So cell communication is that much important. Cell cannot exist in isolation. There are two types of cellular communications are there. Cell-cell interactions are there. It is mediated by certain cell surface proteins and cell signaling. These are the two types of communication. Okay. First of all, we are going to understand about cell-cell recognition and adhesion. We know that multicellularity, how an organism or a being stay in multicellular condition, that is only through the association between the cells. Okay, cells or tissues or organs or systems. And this association occurs through certain types of cell recognition, then cell to cell adhesion is there, or through cell junction. That all we have just learned in the last class. Okay, for an example, in this picture, we can see MHC molecule. MHC means major histocompatibility complex. What is the full form? Major histocompatibility complex. It is anchored in the plasma membrane. What is its role? It helps the cell in immune system, in immunity. How to recognize cells from non-self cells. That's all. So MHC is a type of protein that is anchored in the plasma membrane. It helps the body to recognize cells as well as non-self cells. Okay. So that is an example for cell recognition, presence of MHC protein. Then what is cell adhesion? Adhesion means in that condition cell will interact and attach to a surface or substrate, or some case it remains attached with another cell. How they do all these things? Through interactions between molecules of the cell surface. Cell adhesion, how it occurs uh, in a particular cell, its cell surface may contain some proteins or any such molecules. And with the help of this proteins or molecule, it get attached with another cell. That is cell adhesion. Cell interact and attach to a surface or substrate or another cell through interaction between molecules of the cell surface. That is cell adhesion. Then how this adhesion is taking place? It is by the action of certain transmembrane glycoproteins. They are called cell adhesin molecule or CAMs. I will write here with the help of some transmembrane protein called cell adhesin, or in short form CAMs. With the help of these proteins, they are communicating or attaching with the neighboring cell. Examples of such cell adhesive molecules are cadherins, then proteins of immunoglobulin superfamily, then integrins, selectins. All these are examples for such molecules that helps the cell to interact, communicate with the neighboring cells. Then what is cell junction? Cell junction. Junctions, we have learned about different types of junctions in the last class, like desmosomes, tight junctions, gap junctions, plasmodesmata. Okay. So what is cell junctions? They are long lasting permanent connection between contacting sites. They are long lasting and also permanent connection between contacting cells. Three types exist. Tight junctions, we have already learned about that. Then junctions are there. Anchoring junctions include desmosomes and hemidesmosome. Both of them we have learned. Then communicating junction are also there. They include gap junction and plasmodesmata. So cell junctions are of three types. First one, tight junction. Tight junction is there. Second one, anchoring. Anchoring junction. That include desmosomes and hemidesmosome. And the third one is communicating junction. That include gap junction and plasmodesmata. Regarding all these junctions we have learned in the last class. So we are moving to next section, that is cell signaling. So cell-cell interactions we have covered. Cell-cell signaling is another type of communication between the cells. What is cell signaling? I will explain you now. Cell signaling means, suppose this is a cell, okay, and in the neighborhood another cell also may present, and this cell receives certain information from the environment. Environment means whatever area surrounding to this cell. And as it got this information, it convert this information to a second messenger. Means means a mediator in that signaling pathway. And release that message or information to other cell. In that way, the whole array of cell perform or function in response to a common information. It is similar the way if we get a phone call and an information is passing to ourselves, and we are conveying that the same information to our other members of the family. It is in that form. Okay, clear. Okay, when information is coming to a cell from its environment, it converts into in the form of a second messenger and conveying to other cell. That is cell signaling, simply. Okay, next, types of cell signaling. Different types of cell signalings are there. One way is by displaying the molecules on the cell surface. One method is by displaying a molecule on the cell surface. And this molecule is recognized by the receptors that present on other nearby cell. This is one method. One cell is displaying a molecule on its surface, and this molecule is recognized by the receptor present in another cell. And this kind of communication, this requires close contact. Okay, For this type of signaling, both the cells remain very close. Then only it is possible. Then what is another type of cell signaling? Another type is there in which one cell can release some chemical signal. One cell, it release some chemical signal or chemical or electrical signal, and that are recognized by another cell that can be very nearby or distant. That are the two different types of cell signaling. Okay, clear. Then which are the elements of signaling? Which are all the parts, which are all the factors that is present in that signaling pathway? That includes signals should be there, a signal receptor should be there, a second messenger should be there, and with response to all these things, a response also need to elicit in the system. So what are the elements? First of all, a signal should be there. Second one, a signal receptor should be there. Third one, a second messenger should be formed. And fourth, in response to all these things, a response should elicit in the system. A signal response system should be there. That's all. Then next we are moving to types of signals. Types of signals. Signals are, electrical signals are there and chemical signals are there. Electrical signals, how they function? It develop by regulating the flow of ions. We know that uh, for each cell membrane there is a particular distribution of ions in inside and outside, and by changing that distribution pattern, the cell can elicit an electrical signal. There's a pattern. How much should be the positive charge? How much should be the negative inside? There's a pattern is there. If any disturbance happen to that, at that time an electrical signal will develop there. So that's why electrical signals are made by regulating the flow of ions between the interior of the cell and the outside environment. Then next type is the chemical signal. Chemical signal means what? It is mediated by a variety of signaling molecules or ligands. How they are occurring? Chemical signaling with the help of certain chemical molecules. They are known as ligands. With the help of such molecules, signaling is carrying on in the case of chemical signaling. And the cell that is releasing that signal is called source cell. Okay, the cell that release that signal is called source cell, and the cell that is accepting or receiving that signal is called a receiver cell. And the ligands, that chemical molecule, they are of two types. One type means it can bind to the receptor. Two types of chemical signal can be produced. One type means it can bind to a receptor and can enter into the cell. After binding the receptor, it can enter the cell. That is one type. Another type means it cannot enter the cell. It can stay only outside by binding the receptor. By binding the receptor that is present outside, it can control. It can elicit a response inside the cell. That are the two different types of ligands. First type means it can bind receptor and along with the receptor it can enter the cell. Second type means it bind with the receptor but cannot enter the cell even if it can elicit a response inside the cell. These are two type of ligands. Okay, next signaling molecules. Next, we are going to understand more about signaling molecules. What are signaling molecules? They are chemicals. Chemicals released by one cell, and it is recognized by the receptors that present on a different cell or the same cell. Okay, that are called the signaling molecules. Very clear. Signaling molecules, whatever it be, there are certain molecules. It is produced by a cell and it is go and bind with the receptor that is present in another cell. Sometimes it binds with the receptor that is present in the same cell itself. That also must some situation. Okay. Then again we can divide the signaling molecules into two types. Which are they? Extracellular signals and intracellular signals. What is this extracellular signals? Extracellular signals means it binds only on the external cell receptor. It binds only on the external cell receptor. Okay. Then extracellular signaling are of four types are there. Four different type of extracellular signaling pathways, signaling methods are there. Which are the methods? Endocrine, paracrine, juxtacrine and autocrine. All these are signaling, type of signaling with the help of extracellular signals. Okay. Then what about intracellular signals? Intracellular signals means it can enter the cell and can bind intracellular receptor. Intracellular receptor means it can enter the cell and can bind certain intracellular receptors. That type of signals are usually steroid hormones. Examples are there: estradiol. Examples of intracellular signals: estradiol. This is D. Estradiol is there. It is a female sex hormone. Then testosterone is there. Is also another hormone ligand that can enter inside the cell. That's male sex hormone. Thyroid hormone. Thyroid hormone. All these can enter the cell. Okay. Next. Next, I am moving to types of signals, mainly extracellular signals. This is very, very important. It's a sure question for university examination. First is endocrine signaling. Look in this picture, endocrine signaling. And in this case, the signaling molecules are hormones. Signaling molecules, the ligands are hormones. There are chemical substances. And it acts on distant target cells because hormones are releasing to the blood it is carrying to some other cells need to respond to that hormones that is located far away from the source cell. Clear? That is endocrine signaling with the help of endocrine glands. Okay. Then what about paracrine signaling? Paracrine, look in this picture, paracrine. The signaling molecule, it is released by a cell that is in close proximity. Okay. And with the help of some certain receptors, the cell that is positioned very close to this source cell respond to that chemical signal. Okay, that is para. So main point you have to keep in mind is the receiving cell is located very close to the source cell. That is the main point. Example for paracrine signaling is synaptic signaling of neurotransmitter. Means example is that we have learned about neurons. Axon is there, dendrons, dendrites, and it is in communication with the dendrite or tip of another neuron. Okay, and As the neurotransmitter passed from this neuron, it passed to the next neuron by way of this paracrine signaling. That is, this neuron is secreting that chemical signal. It binds with the receptor that is present in the nearby neuron. By that way, it affects the process or response of the nearby neuron. This is an example of paracrine. So, what is the example for paracrine? Synaptic signaling of neurotransmitter. That is the example. Then what is juxtacrine signaling? Juxtacrine. Juxta means juxtaposition. Means very close contact. That is the important point that you have to remember regarding the juxtacrine signaling. Look in the picture, juxtacrine. Here, this one. It requires close contact. Here there is some space exists. But in this case, there is no such space between the source cell and the receiving cell. Should be in close contact for that type of signaling. Then last one is the autocrine signaling. Autocrine signaling means auto means self. Means the cell produce that chemical signal and it cause an effect in that same cell itself by binding the receptor that is present on that same cell itself. Example, response of cell to growth factors released by themselves. Example, what is the example for the autocrine signaling? Response of cells to growth factors that is released by themselves. Okay. Next is signal reception. Signal reception. What is the main thing there? A signal molecule should be there and it should go and bind with a receptor that is present in the plasma membrane of the receiving cell. Okay, that is signal reception simply. And this particular signal molecule is complementary. It is suitable, apt for that particular receptor that is present in the receiving cell. That means it is complementary to that receptor. Next, signal receptors. Signal receptors. There are two types of receptors are there. Cell surface receptors. That itself means that receptors are present on the surface of the cell. Then intracellular receptors are there. Intra means it is present inside the cell. Okay. Next, we are going to understand about cell surface receptors. What are they? They are membrane anchored proteins. Okay, all these receptors are membrane anchored proteins. And all these proteins have three domains, means three regions are there. An extracellular domain is there, then hydrophobic domain is there, and an intracellular domain is there. The picture that are shown here are of different types of cell surface receptors. Okay. Next we are going to see about which are the different types of cell surface receptors. They include G protein coupled receptor. It is shown here. Then receptor tyrosine kinase. This is one. And ligand gated ion channel. All these are cell surface receptors. Okay. Next, we are going to learn about some cell surface receptors. First is G protein coupled receptor. In short, we can write it as G protein coupled receptors, GPCR. They are the largest group of protein that included as cell surface receptors, and it has a binding site for G protein. That is why it is called G protein coupled receptor. G protein is an important factor for this receptor to elicit a response in the receiving cell. So that's why it got that name. There are 7 transmembrane spanning domain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Has 7 transmembrane spanning domain. It spanned the membrane 7 times. Example is certain hormone receptors for glucagon, angiotensin, etc. All those receptors are included in this family, G protein coupled receptor. Next, another type of cell surface receptor, that is receptor tyrosine kinase. It is in short form, it is written as RTKS. It also spans the plasma membrane. Uh, it has an intrinsic enzymatic activity, means it itself has enzymatic activity. How its enzymatic activity get initiated? By the binding of the corresponding respective ligand. When its respective signal molecule binds on this receptor, then its enzymatic activity get activated. And what happens next? Then it activates another protein kinases. Protein kinases means they are all certain class of enzymes which can add phosphate group to some substrate. So this term you should be very much familiarized wherever you are coming across as protein kinases, that last term. All kinases can add phosphate group to some other substrate. So whenever the ligand bind with receptor, its enzymatic activity get activated, and it activate another protein kinase. And as it get activated, it convey that signal to the next substrate by phosphorylating the substrate. In that way, a chain of communication happen in the cell until a final response is possible. It's possible. Okay, that's what. Okay, these are the two different type of cell surface receptors. Clear? Next, ligand gated. This is the another type of cell surface receptors. How it opens? It opens only when some ligand come and bind with the these channels, and when it open, ions from outside or inside can pass through it. This type of protein also has a membrane spanning region with a hydrophilic channel through its middle. Hydrophilic channel is there. Example for such cell surface receptors are receptors for neurotransmitters. Next, we are moving to intracellular receptors. Uh, till here, we finish everything about cell surface receptors. Next, another head, that is intracellular receptors. That means receptors that is present inside the cell. This is the plasma membrane. This is the cells outside. This is inside. And these receptors are found inside the cell in the cytoplasm, or it can be present inside the nucleus. And in this type of receptors, most of the ligands signaling molecules are steroid hormones. Okay, mostly steroid hormones have their receptors that is located inside the cell. And the receptor, when it got bind with the signal, it moved towards or move to the inner side of the nucleus. As it enters the nucleus, it change its name. It become a transcription factor. After it enters the nucleus, that receptor along with the ligand, it got another name. What is that? Transcription factor. By attaining that name, that role, it bind with some specific gene and facilitate the transcription of that particular gene. That is the final response. Okay. That's about the action of intracellular receptors. Okay, next, signal transduction. Signal transduction we are going to see. Listen here. Extracellular signal is coming. Come and bind the signal molecule. Sorry, receptor. A receptor get activated, and activated receptor activate the next molecule in the communication pathway, which in turn activate another one in the same pathway, that in turn activate another one, and the chain continues until get a final response. Okay, that is what signal transduction. This signal is coming and a final response is possible at the last of that chain of action, chain of response. This is signal amplification. Why it is called amplification means we are increasing or a strength, giving more, getting more strength than the actual amount. Because why we are calling this as signal amplification here, because only one molecule is binding here. Even then only one molecule is binding here, then also so many substrates get activated because of that. So that's why that signal get amplified in this pathway. Then another another term we need to familiarize with, that is second messenger. In the beginning of this chapter also, I mentioned this term. That time I didn't explain more detail about that time. Now we are going to familiarize with that time. What is second messenger? They are certain intracellular molecule produced in response to the first ligand molecule that bind with the receptor. Examples for second messengers, which are they? They are CAMB, CGMB, inositol, etc. All these are second messengers. Okay. Then we are going to the next section, very important section. What is the mechanism of signal transduction? Major events that is happening in a signal transduction. Which are the major events? Synthesizing of the signal molecule by the source cell, that is one step, and its release, then transport of that signal, then binding of that signal with the receptor that is present in the source cell, and in response to that binding a response is developing there, and after fulfilling the final response we need to terminate the signal, otherwise that response continue for long. Okay, that's the problem. I will explain it with an example, because um, our body our body need glucose, and glucose is stored in the liver, glycogen, in the form of glycogen, and according whenever it is recognized, cell communication initiated, and as a result that from the glycogen glucose subunits are broken down and released to the body, and when that requirement is over, then we need to shut down that cell communication process. Otherwise what will happen? The level of glucose in the body will increase. Okay, increase, and even it can lead to the death of that individual. So that's why after a certain duration of any of the cell communication pathway, it is very necessary to terminate that signal pathway. Otherwise it will result in some bad effects. So that's why that's the last step, termination of signaling. Next, types of signal transduction pathway. Okay, G protein coupled pathway is there. Steroid hormone receptor pathway is there. receptor protein tyrosine kinase pathway is there, ligand gated channel pathway are there. And we are going to see these different types of pathway now. Very important, G protein coupled receptor and steroid hormone, very important. A small chance for to get this question for the examination. First, G protein coupled pathway. Okay, G protein coupled pathway, how it is happening? Ligand comes and bind with the G protein coupled receptor. That binding result a conformational change. Conformational change, I already explained to you what is conformational change. Change in the pattern of the folding of that protein. And because of that conformational change, what will result? There is a protein. Its name is G protein. That G protein come and bind with the that receptor, G protein coupled receptor. Only after what it can bind? Only after that conformational change it can come and bind with this receptor. After binding this receptor, what change is happening to this G protein? Look, it get activated. It get activated, and from that G protein means a guanine triphosphate. G protein means guanine is there and 3-phosphate group also there, and it activated and hydrolyze and release what it release GDP and 1-phosphate is released. That means certain amount of energy also released here, and as a result the alpha subunit from this G protein detach and bind with another protein. This is called the effector molecule. Okay, it binds with the effector. Here the effector molecule is called the adenyl cyclase, and it also got activated through a conformational change. But then what it do? It activated another protein called CAMP. CAMP, we already learned that it is an example for second messenger. So the first message is modified to a second message. So this one is the second message here, and it activate another protein, a kinase. I already told you, whenever you heard about kinase, you have to understand that that particular protein can add phosphate to some other substrate. Okay, it activates another regulatory protein. Okay, because of that activation of regulatory protein, we may get a final response. And after that, we need to terminate this signal translation. How? By removing this ligand from here. As far as this ligand stay bind with the receptor, the signal pathway continues for long. Okay, I think it's very clear to you. Next, we are going to see is the steroid hormone receptor pathway. Steroid hormone receptor pathway means it is an intracellular receptor pathway. Going to see that now. This is steroid hormone. It can pass to the plasma membrane and enters the cytoplasm. And as soon as the receptor, intracellular receptor that is present in the cytoplasm come and bind with the steroid hormone. After binding, it become activated. Before binding the steroid hormone, this receptor cannot enter the nucleus. After binding with the steroid hormone, it become activated. Maybe because of undergoing some conformational change. And both of them is moving inside the nucleus. As it enters the nucleus, that receptor along with the steroid hormone become a transcription factor, means a protein that is helps in the transcription of DNA. As a result, transcription and translation of particular gene occurs, and as a result, the required protein is forming. This is this receptor pathway. I think it's very clear to you now. Okay, with this we finish this chapter and today's section. Thank you.